Eliza James had grown used to the whispers. Every time she walked through town, heads tilted toward one another, voices lowered, and the same words followed her. She's nothing but a burden, drowning in debt. Her late father had left her with nothing but a crumbling cabin, a small patch of dry land, and more creditors than she could count. The townsfolk looked at her with pity, but never with kindness. The men avoided her because no one wanted a woman with empty hands and endless troubles, and the women scorned her because she reminded them of everything they feared becoming. Still, Eliza fought. She scrubbed floors, sewed clothes, and cooked meals for anyone who would pay a few coins. But the harder she worked, the deeper the debt seemed to grow. Nights found her crying into her pillow, praying for just a little mercy. One afternoon, after being humiliated at the mercantile for not being able to pay her account, Eliza stormed outside with tears burning her eyes. That was when she saw him. Garrett Cole, the richest cowboy in the county. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with sun-browned skin and eyes as sharp as the Texas horizon. He owned more land than anyone around, hundreds of cattle, and a reputation for being fair, but distant. Women often fluttered around him, but he never seemed to notice. Yet that day, his eyes settled directly on her. "You all right, Miss James?" His voice was deep, steady, and carried a quiet concern. Eliza straightened, embarrassed. "I'm fine. Just a bit of a misunderstanding." Garrett's gaze flicked toward the storekeeper still sneering at her through the window. He didn't press her, but something in his expression softened. The following weeks, Eliza began seeing Garrett more often. Sometimes at the well, sometimes at church, sometimes when she least expected it. He'd tip his hat, offer to carry her bundles, or lend his horse when she needed to haul something heavy. At first, she bristled at his kindness, pride burning inside her. But then came the day her land was to be taken. A letter arrived from the bank. Unless she paid the overdue debt by month's end, the cabin and all she had would be seized. Eliza felt her world collapsing. That night, she packed a small bundle of clothes, ready to leave before shame consumed her. But Garrett appeared at her door. "You weren't at church today," he said simply. "I won't be here much longer," she whispered, fighting tears. "The bank's coming for the land. I've lost everything." He stepped inside, silent for a moment, then reached into his coat. When he pulled out a folded document and placed it on her table, Eliza's breath caught. It was a land title. Her name was written across it. "I bought out your debts," Garrett said, his voice low. "This land, your cabin, your fields, it's yours. No one can take it from you now." Eliza stared at him, stunned. Why would you do this for me?" Garrett's eyes met hers, steady as stone. "Because I see the truth, Eliza. You're not a burden. You're the strongest woman I've ever known. And I'd be proud if you let me stand by your side." Word spread quickly. The whispers in town changed. No longer did they call her a burden. They called her the woman Garrett Cole chose. But Eliza no longer cared about their talk. What mattered was the warmth of the man who had given her more than land. He had given her dignity, hope, and a future. That evening, as they walked the boundary of the fields together, Garrett took her hand. The horizon blazed with sunset fire, and for the first time in years, Eliza smiled without fear. She had thought herself a woman drowning in debt, unwanted and forgotten. But now, she was the owner of her land, the keeper of her freedom, and the cherished partner of the cowboy who had seen her worth when no one else did.